said all over the page. Actually, it's 10:24 in the morning. I'm producing quite a few videos because I've got a several-hour drive to get back home. This is something that just popped in my head I've never talked about. That you understand. This will give you an understanding on why I dislike Jackie Gibbs and why I dislike Bill Bruton. Both of them had a responsibility to protect citizens of Marietta. They had a responsibility to protect me and the rest of the employees that work there. And when I was promoted, we had a weird position called station commander. And this is a little history lesson for the guys that work in Marietta. I'm trying to get this so that's maybe a decent image. This is kind of a little history for people in Marietta where station commander came from. I don't even know if they use it anymore. But when I went to work there, we had firefighter, driver, lieutenant. Excuse me. When I went to work there, we had firefighter, driver, captain, assistant chief, and chief of the department. New chief got promoted, Ken Burris. He wanted to go back to the days of lieutenant and captains. So he didn't want to insult the captains by downgrading them. So he came up with this position called station commander. And the station commander was in the old manual that we had at the fire department. And so he wanted, like I said, to go back to lieutenants and captains. So what he started doing when he came in was anybody that got promoted above the rank of driver got promoted to lieutenant. People that were captains, the next batch, they tested for commanders. So now you had your initial commanders. And then after a while, people that were lieutenants would test the station commanders. And the people that were called captains, and I know this is getting kind of in the weeds, the people that were called captains, they stayed in that role till they retired. And what I was told was, when I got promoted to station commander, was when the last captain retires, all the station commanders are going to be reclassified as captains. The pay grade for captain will be brought up to the station commander pay raise. And then from there on out, you've got the proper format of firefighter, driver, lieutenant, and captain. So the purpose of the station commander was the chief wanted one person that he felt was responsible for a specific territory that he could go to, that he could get problems solved at each fire district. And that was the station commanders. Well, getting into a little more crowded area here. So I was at Station 2. I was one of two paramedic station commanders. And I was at Station 2, which was going to become an ALS station. So I was assigned there. Well, when Gibbs comes in, he moves me up to Station 6. And so under his tutelage, I was at Station 2, Station 6, administration, Station 4, Station 5. I was at every station except on the headquarters engine in Station 3, which was our slow station. When I got moved to Station 6, one of the captains, a guy named Jeff Phillipbaum, and Jeff was as good a gold as a guy that you would ever meet. There's a golf tournament that he started down there years ago that they've recently named. It's like the Jeff Phillipbaum annual golf tournament fundraiser, and it raised money for the scholarship fund. Jeff was assigned up at Station 6 with me, and he called me up and said, "Hey, get a chance to come by here and talk to you." I said, "Okay." So I went by and said, "Hey, what's up?" He goes, "Because you need to be careful." So what do you mean I need to be careful? And he said, Mike, which was his assistant chief, you got to understand, my dad had worked at this department from the 50s into the 80s. I came there after he retired, and I worked there for about 30 years. And so there was a lot of professional courtesy even towards my dad. And most of these guys had either known me since birth. Some of the old guys had known me since the day I was born. And most of them had known me since I was a kid that was in the higher ranks. And his chief, Mike, told him, hey, you need to be careful out here. He goes, why? Jeff said, why? And he goes, well, he said, I was told by Chief Gibbs to send the worst crew possible out to Station 6. Mike said, I looked at him and said, why in the world would I do that? He said, Gibbs told him, because I want to see Dobbins fail. Now, when I heard that, I thought, my gosh, to what extent will somebody go because they want to basically get someone? That they're willing to put the community at risk for their personal corrupt agenda. And was it true? Mike told him, he goes, I'm not doing that. And what happens is Gibbs, I guarantee you, wasn't a fool. He wasn't going to press the issue. But I can tell you, my assistant chief at the time, Roy, was basically retiring. And so there was two people that were assigned to me that my view is they were picked by Gibbs and the deputy chief. Now, how about that? Because Roy was not in the picture. And it was kind of in a roundabout way, I found out later, those two guys did not like the two people that were sent to my shift. On another shift, C shift, he sent three people out there he couldn't stand. And so basically they did as they were told, except it worked out that was what happened, except on Mike's shift. Hat off to you, Mike, for having a set of cojones and standing up. And I'm kind of bouncing, getting on I-75 now. But now here's the reality. Just because somebody doesn't like you does not necessarily mean you're a bad employee, which is kind of the comical side of the whole thing. But the intent was there. And this is, like I said, where I have a problem with this guy's leadership. This is just a corrupt asshole. I got nothing for him. And I hate to use the cuss words, but it's the best way to describe them. And I'm actually being kind of mild for what can actually be coming out of my mouth. And where I have another problem, if you're a citizen of Marietta, that went under Bruton's watch. This stuff was going on under Bill Bruton. That guy's either corrupt or he's incompetent, one or the other. Because the things I put up with as an employee, he's either corrupt or incompetent. And that's just the facts of life. And that's why all these are being made. It's a thing that lets me vent. And hopefully down the road, it'll get his ass canned and fired and thrown out of there. So, Shed, off the page.